Mike, it is a glorious day, and it's a day that has been a long time coming, hasn't it? My job here is to make some acknowledgments, and I know it's getting chilly, so I'm gonna spare the notes. There were some of the remarks I had, and try to get straight to the list. But there are so many people here that have collectively worked together on this and made this a reality. At times when it looked like it was so difficult, and at times when it looked like it just wasn't going to be possible to pull this off, they were not willing to give up, even though it was we had so many difficulties. And I've got so many people to thank and acknowledge. I kind of feel like, you know, when you're up here for the Academy Awards and you start naming people and you're going to leave somebody out for certain, and I apologize if we have, but because there are so many people to acknowledge. Bear with me, because there's a lot of names, because there's been a lot of people that have been active participants in bringing this about. The first one that group that I want to acknowledge, though, is the Design and Construction Committee. This was co-chaired by Alan McGuinn and Irv Pierce, who began their work in 2007. And at that time, they were recruited, so you're going to be finished in about a year. Well, they're still active, and we appreciate their dedication. But working along with Alan and Irv were Ann Collier, Mike Cox, Marley Carroll, Larry Walters, Thomas Carlson Reddick, Matt Messick, Bobby Patterson, Hugh Sutphin, thank you, Diane Filipowitz, Roger Leeson, Sean Vance, Phil Shostak, Renee Hutchinson, Anthony Hershey, and of course Dave Crawford and myself. I also want to acknowledge someone that did such a wonderful job with the competition. Our competition advisor, Bill McMinn, who insulated all of those activities from the design and construction to bring us to the point of having a design and architect for this project. None of this, of course, would be possible without the financial contributions, and all of that was led by a dedicated group with our Financial Development Committee that was co-chaired by Steve Schuster and Harvey Gant. In addition to the two of them, again, there was Ann Collier, Mike Cox, Elaine Baldwin, Darrell Williams, Lloyd Walters, Jody Eford, Phil Kuttner, Wayne Camus, John Atkins, John Farkas, Charles Aboni, John Rogers, and Dave and myself. So we owe so much to these individuals who have worked so hard, even in the midst of the economic downturn and the challenges that were presented. And as many of you know, we began our capital campaign in 2008. We were about halfway through that, made great progress, and of course we put that on hold. I want to acknowledge, however, all of those individuals who have so far made individual pledges and contributions to this project that has brought us to today. First of all is the firms that have pledged or have made contributions, and they include Walter Robbs Callahan Pierce, Architectural Design Studio, Clearscapes, Freeman White, Eford Sutphin Pierce, O'Brien Atkins, Gant Huberman, TFF Architects and Planners, WGM Design, Fisher Architects, Moser Mayer Phoenix Associates, Tom Hughes Architect, J. Davis Architects, McCulloch England Associates, Aiken Cost Consultants, Oxley Architecture, Ramsey Bergen Smith, Lambert Architecture, BJW Architecture, WHN Architects, Hall Architects, Monet Belenja, Falconberry Architects, the FWA Group, Architect Design Associates, Height Associates, Matthew Matthews Architecture, Pierce, Brinkley, Cease and Lee, Little Associates, Ellen Casilli, Adams Group, Cherry Huffman Architects, Neighboring Concepts, JKF Architecture, Oakley Collier Architects, the Freelon Group, Small Kane Architects, Kling, Stubbins, Garner, and Brown Architects. The list goes on. Individual pledges and contributions have included, in addition to these firms, Kelly Ann Gordon, Charles Snow, Georgia Abernathy, William Dove, Rance Callahan, Lou DeTurk, Carl Rozek, George Buck, Patrick Rand, Jerry Stacy, Mikhail Hansen, Dean, I'm going to murder this one, Hajuna, Charles Dew, Michael Ratilia, Sherman Otta, Mario Griegny, James Moore, Walter Vick, David Crawford, Daniel Mace, Ariel Scheitner, Michael Matsuka, Charles Boney, Thomas O'Brien, Andrew Previtt. There was a passing of the hat of the AIA board. Joel Stega, Walt Teague, John Pierce, and George Smart. Those were all contributions to the building fund, and it is a long list, and I appreciate your diligence, but I just felt that it was important to acknowledge those people that have stepped up so far in contributing to the building. There is an additional important component of all of this, and that is the foundation, the funding vehicle for the programs and activities that are going to give life and spirit to this place. The individuals that have made pledges to the foundation include Miller Nicholson, Cheryl Walker, Douglas Coons, Irv Pierce, Walt Teague, George Buck, James Legnois, Kevin Owen, Lloyd Walters, John Fuller, Joe Bircher, Diane Filipowitz, the Clark Nixon Foundation, J. Peterson Jr., Renee Hutchinson, John Coit, Matt Messick, and Thomas, I think that's Bill O'Brien. In addition to this, there is a group of 25 believers that I think we just need to acknowledge, because as we were almost to the finish line with the financing, we had to bridge a gap between what we were to raise or the additional pledges. And we had 25 individuals, members and friends of architecture, who stepped up in making personal loans. That's what I call having faith in this project, to push us over that finish line so we could move forward with this today. Those 25 that we're so appreciative for, that include Steve Schuster, John Atkins, Doug Brinkley, Clymer Cease, Irv Pierce, Larry Robbs, Lou Jerkowski, Lloyd Walters, Charles Boney, Mike Cox, Walt Teague, Alan McGuinn, Bill O'Brien, AIA Piedmont, Clancy Thays Construction, AIA Charlotte, Frank Harmon Architect, AIA Triangle, AIA Winston-Salem, the Freelon Group, AIA Asheville, AIA Eastern, and George Smart. So once again, we're so thankful for the participation of these individuals with their financial contributions. I will say, fear not, I bring you tidings of great joy that you will, if you have not made a pledge or contribution, you will have an opportunity to do that. There will be a second coming of the Building in Context campaign, and it should be kicking off shortly. So when we have this groundbreaking a little less than a year from now, we're going to make more acknowledgments and anybody that wants to, hopefully you'll add your name to this list as well. I can't stop quite yet, Mike. I'm almost finished, but there are a couple of other groups that I need to make acknowledgement to, and these are individuals that were serving in some of the early years in forming the beginning of this, and they include. The notes have gotten out of order here now. In 2006, there was a task force that was formed. It was the Center for Architecture Task Force. It was one that Darrell Williams and myself co-chaired, but we had a number of individuals that stayed engaged and were active through that process, and they include Georgia Bezios, Ann Collier, Mike Cox, David Crawford, Tim Crosby, Robbie Ferris, Diane Filipowicz, Rob Johnson, Roger Leeson, Jane Matthews, Bobby Patterson, Irv Pierce, Steve Schuster, Hugh Sutphin, and Sean Vance. And even before that, when we were just trying to figure out what to do with the tower, and we came up with an idea of creating this Center for Architecture, and that was the 2005 Facilities Task Force. The members that were involved with that were Mike Cox, Paul Kapp, Roger Leeson, Jane Matthews, Joe Opperman, Steve Schuster, Hugh Sutphin, David Appleyard, Darrell Williams, David Crawford, and myself as chair. 7 years ago, we began this journey, and it has been trying at times, but it has been very defining. It has been unifying, and it has been inspiring. It has just proven our spirit not just to survive, but to thrive. The fruit of our labor we give to the present and future generations of architects and all citizens of this great state of North Carolina to experience and value architecture and design. Thank you all for being here, and thank all of you that have contributed with your time and financial support to bring us to where we are today. Thank you very much.